Folks, can we calm down about Kevin Durant? He's gonna be okay. Relax. Take a deep breath and keep it in perspective.
ESNY.
Up 6, under 2 minutes, the Toronto Raptors were this close to the country's first NBA championship. ABC, ESPN, they were ready to wax poetic about the country chip, the country title, getting away from hockey for a moment and loving that basketball north of the border. It didn't happen. Nick Nurse called that timeout. Honestly, I think that's overblown because a TV timeout was forthcoming anyway. After Kawhi Leonard scored, I think it was 10 straight points. He didn't score again the rest of the way. Doubled on the last possession. Kyle Lowry had to hoist up the corner three, didn't come close. And listen, Lowry is the Toronto Raptor. He is the Raptor. I don't know if he's the longest tenured Raptor, but he's up there. If anyone had that chance to get it done for that country, for that city, Lowry was the guy. And, I haven't seen the replay. Was it tipped? I don't think so. I don't even think a hand was in his face. The defender was kind of to his right. And he completely choked on the shot, hit the backboard. Not enough is being made about that. Lowry had a chance to win the title, folks. And he didn't get it done. But anyway, didn't happen. Warriors win Game 5. It's going back to Game 6. And the big story, of course, in the NBA and in New York, Kevin Durant. I am so sick and tired of this garbage. Folks, if you didn't know better, you would have thought Kevin Durant left the NBA, joined the military on his own accord, went overseas, and heroically died in battle, like a Tillman of the NFL. If you didn't know any better, you would have thought this guy was the second coming of Jesus Christ, sacrificed by the basketball gods. He gets hurt, of course, tears his Achilles. How bad is it? We don't know. He provided a little spark, nothing compared to Willis Reed. Let's calm down. I don't even think it had any determination on the final score. DeMarcus Cousins comes in. He would not have played. He was not in the rotation without the KD injury. But if you think the Warriors won out of some, divine kinship for Durant and him going down, you're completely lost. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. They won because they're champions and they executed down the stretch. The Curry three, the Thompson three. They won because they executed down the stretch. It had nothing to do with Durant. But with Durant, relax. The talk last night, the talk today. Oh, what a warrior. This guy put his career on the line for his team. Oh, what a guy. What a role model. What a dude. What a tremendous individual. This is not a knock on Durant. Give credit to Durant for giving it a go. And obviously, really hurting himself. With the calf turning into the Achilles. It could have been an Achilles prior. We don't know, folks. This is not a knock on Durant. This is a knock on the NBA media. Let's calm down. This is not a hero. What we saw last night was a sports injury. Sports injuries happen. Come on. Sports injuries happen. Stop putting this guy on a freaking pedestal. What is Kevin Durant? Kevin Durant is a guy who was drafted by the Seattle Supersonics, turned into the Oklahoma City Thunder, a la to LeBron, got scared, ran for the easy chips, very temperamental dude. He's a two-time NBA champion, two-time NBA Finals MVP, and he's the second best player in the league. No, I don't think he's the best player. Not by a long shot. Until I see LeBron not be the best player, Durant's number 2. He's a multi-millionaire. He's got the world by the balls. He suffers a sports injury, and your guts are supposed to spill for this guy? Let's calm down. You could feel bad if you want to. That's cool. You could feel bad. Okay, things aren't going to go swimmingly for him this summer now, although they probably still will. What NBA team will not sign him? Say it's the worst case scenario, and say he misses all of next year. He will still be signed to a max deal, folks. Who are we kidding? He still has that back pocket player option in Golden State. Are you crying for this guy who has these options? Oh my lord. Let's calm down. Let's take the narrative from a 12 and bring it down to a 3. Okay? It's unfortunate what happened. Give him credit for trying to play. But the idea that he ruined his career for his team is so overblown, it makes me throw up in my mouth a little bit. Like, what's the worst that could happen? He misses a year, he comes back, he's still a multimillionaire, and he's still, 31 years old? Let's relax. Best case, it's not a complete tear, and he's back midway through next year. Who knows? We don't know what the injury is yet. That's the other factor. If you want your guts to spill, let it spill for the New York Knicks. Let it spill for the NBA. Durant to the Knicks was the move the NBA needed. The Knicks ridding themselves of that problem child, KP, and I can't believe he's a problem child. He came into the league as a coach's dream, completely coachable, always saying the right things. It's amazing to me. I think his water was poisoned a bit by a fellow star who was in New York when he arrived. Phil Jackson didn't help things. The environment was toxic. The media, when he skipped the exit interview, oh, it's no big deal. He's young. He'll learn from it. No, you got to nip that in the butt. But the Knicks rid themselves of KP, set this whole thing up for KD, and I know it's not guaranteed. Listening to Stephen A., KD changes his mind every hour. First it's the Knicks with Kyrie, then it's the Nets as Kyrie called him up and says he's impressed with the Nets. Who the hell knows? But it's such Knickerbocker style. To go through this, get so close, and have the prize free agent go down with an Achilles. To bleed over Kevin Durant, who's a back-to-back champion, MVP. Regular season MVP. Ma, you're the real MVP. This guy. To bleed over this guy. And not bleed for the New York Knicks? The diehard fans who have been waiting for decades? For nearly 40 years? 50 years? For a championship? Your priorities are completely confused, folks. You live in an ESPN SportsCenter world that only focuses on the hyper, big-time stud. The few studs who run the world. Please, break it down. The man got hurt. The man suffered a sports injury. The New York Rangers in 2015. Ryan McDonough, half the blue line, were playing with injuries that would sideline any athlete. Not hockey players. Ryan McDonough If my memory serves correct, he was playing with a broken ankle, getting it frozen before every game in the playoffs. Correct me if I'm wrong. But McDonough, Girardi, and Stahl? Was Stahl hurt too? I can't remember. But these guys were playing with broken bones. And no one, they received attention in the hockey world, but not worldwide. Not SportsCenter. Not to this degree, where we're putting Durant on a pedestal that no one could even touch. Let's calm down. Let's calm down. It's a sports injury. Kevin Durant is going to be okay, folks. The whole production, the whole show, that was Game 5 on ABC. Yeah, if you weren't a smart sports fan, you would have thought Durant was the second coming of many individuals' Lord and Savior. Will he rise from the dead tomorrow? Will he rise from the dead right before July? Suddenly healthy? Like a mythical creature ready to sign on the dotted line? Is he supernatural? Geez, this is just too much. Let's calm down. He suffered a sports injury like so many people have suffered before. I know it's on the grandest stage. I know it's on the NBA Finals. I know the NBA drives the NBA and the NFL. Thanks to ESPN. See, it wouldn't have been like this back in the 90s. If social media came out during the 90s, it wouldn't have been like this. ESPN didn't have NBA. They had NHL. And NHL really helped ESPN grow. But because ESPN does not have the NHL anymore, the NBA and its social media savvy ways with youngsters, which has really created a huge fan base, but less intelligent fan base, if we're going to be honest. It's the NFL and the NBA. Bleacher Report, ESPN, those are the top two. Surpassed baseball by a long mile now. So anything that happens of this ilk, the drama, everything is just going to be dramatized tenfold. Calm down. I'm speechless. I don't know what else to say. He's going to be okay, folks. He's going to manage. The multimillionaire who could decide what his next move is, even if he misses a season, I kind of get the feeling he's going to be okay. He's going to manage. So keep that in perspective. The Knicks is where it really hurts. Because after getting the number 3 pick in the lottery, you thought that was the low? You thought that was the low point of the offseason for the Knicks? If you thought that, you haven't been a Knicks fan. You've either started rooting for the Knicks, you were born yesterday, or you're a Lakers fan, if you thought that was the low point. This is the low point. And I know KD to New York isn't guaranteed, even with Royal Ivy on the bench, KD's best friend. But man, pour your guts out for a fan base who the best basketball fan base in the world, who is completely tortured day in, day out. Game in, game out, year in, year out. Pour your guts out for the people who actually deserve sympathy. I don't know what to tell you, folks. He didn't ruin his career. Give KD credit. This is not a knock on KD. Give him credit for playing. Okay? But relax. The other part of it is we've reached a point of no return now where the player is going to be protected no matter what. Adam Silver, he's already a player's owner. Player's commissioner. Think about what he's done so far. He's protected the players. Usually the commissioner is the boss of the owners. And the player union president is the boss of the players. And they have at it. Silver's kind of done the opposite. Um, you know, the whole Donald Sterling thing, he didn't hesitate. Got rid of him. Silver hasn't really implemented things that change the game for the fans yet. And I think Silver's great. So far. But now with this injury, what the hell is going to happen? Superstars already take days off thanks to Popovich. Pop down in San Antonio. What the hell's going to... The narratives are already running crazy. Oh my God, should there be a player cap? Should there be a max 60 games for each player during the regular season? People are losing their freaking minds. Thank social media for that. Thank the media landscape. Again, they're running wild and losing their minds because Durant and the handful of superstars in this league, LeBron, Curry, Kawhi, Durant, they mean everything. Anthony Davis even, on a crappy team. They mean everything, rather than the actual teams itself, and the actual games itself. And that's what I'm afraid of. This wild stuff that's happening. Think about the owner, the term owner, that was proposed on LeBron James's The Shop, HBO. You couldn't come up with a more nonsensical thing than abolishing the term owner in the NBA. Folks, there's nothing degrading about that setup. He's the owner of the franchise. The employees of the franchise are multimillionaires who are participating on their own accord. If they don't like it, don't play in the NBA. I understand the thought process. The owners are all white. The majority of the NBA is black. I forget what the percentage is now. I think it might have gone down thanks to international participation, but percentage doesn't matter. The majority is black. So I understand it. I understand the discussion about it, around it, but it's completely silly. To bring it up is creating another issue, another race issue that didn't exist. So while I understand the discussion, I also feel like bringing it up and creating noise around it is creating more tension, creating an issue out of thin air. Pointing at it, saying, hey, look at this. This is unjust. This is unfair. When in fact, there was nothing unfair about it. Nothing will change. The structure will still stay the same. The real problem to solve is getting minority owners in the fold, not changing the name, the term owner. Focus on the real issue of diversity within ownership class, rather than a fake issue that is changing terminology that means the same freaking thing. And this all falls under the power of the players. And Kevin Durant, and the topics of conversation that's going to go into this summer, leading into next year, that some people feel like his injury is going to ruin the entire summer, which, in my opinion, it's fine. Let's focus more on the games rather than the rumors and the complete garbage that comes out day in and day out. Stephen A. Smith flip-flopping. It's not his fault. He's just reporting what he hears. That's fine. Let's get away from that a little bit. But Adam Silver, please, don't get carried away. This is a basketball injury. Valiant effort by KD. He deserves a round of applause. Hell of a job. Pat him on the back. He didn't have to play. He did. He suffered the price. But he's not the Messiah. He didn't knock down the gates, leading troops of men valiantly into battle for this country, for any one group. He's a multimillionaire basketball player who suffered an Achilles injury. I mean, that's what happened. It hurts the NBA, I guess. I mean, makes the series more competitive. I think it helps the NBA in a weird way. Hurts the Knicks badly. But Durant will survive. He will be okay. He should be bummed out right now. He shouldn't hold grudges. I fear that he might. But keep it in perspective. He's gonna be okay, folks. He's gonna survive. If you want to pour your guts out for anybody and feel bad for the New York Knicks fan. Unlike the Warriors, unlike fans of KD who hop from team to team, the Knicks fan, once again, took an absolute dagger to the heart.